Hi everyone, happy Sunday. It's a beautiful sunny day here on the west coast of Newfoundland. I'm Veronica Connors, co-author of SoulStep, 52 Ways to Reconnect with Spirit. And I want to welcome you to our online book club. And as we like to call it, it's our soul pilgrimage. This is session number 21 today, 21 out of 52. So thank you for tuning in and thank you for coming back every Sunday and watching our videos and participating. So this is a year-long video series that we have committed to doing with you because we want to share the many life-changing methods that we have shared with you in the book of SoulStep. And not only that, we want to share the things that have changed our lives personally and that we think can work for you as well. So, and what I mean by that is we've learned to produce more peaceful feelings in our lives. And we've learned how to do that, and there are methods for doing that. And we want to talk about that with you and share that with you. We've learned how to move towards our purpose and for what's in our hearts that we really want to accomplish in this lifetime. And we want to help you to do that too if you are searching for your path here of purpose. And also, I believe that a lot of this work is really around the learning to live a life of our truest expression of who we are. That's so important to me, and I know for Natalie and Florence too. We want to live our truest life expression. And again, to join in that conversation with you and to show you how we've been moving in that direction and how to do it. So thank you for joining in, and thank you to, if you're new today and this is something that you haven't seen before. This is our online book club. This is our soul pilgrimage, and it's based on SoulStep's 52 Ways to Reconnect with Spirit. So I did have a little housekeeping to do with you today. Right now, we have videos on our Facebook page that will take you from session 1 to today, which is session 21. There will be 52 videos presented throughout this year, this soul pilgrimage. But we won't be leaving all the videos up throughout the whole year. So right now, we are taking down videos 1 through 8, that's the first 2 months, at the end of June or in that first week of June. So if you've been meaning to watch some of those videos or to read the chapter and then go and learn a bit more from the videos, now's your time to do that. I think you still have another week to do that, but it's videos 1 to 8. Soul pilgrimage sessions 1 to 8. So you still have another week or so to do that, and then they're going to be taken down. We'll give you lots of notice about when the other videos will disappear as well. But right now they're all still there, so go and catch up on those videos that you've been wanting to see. So on to the next session for this week, which is SoulStep number 7, Transcending the Enemies of Your Peace. And every single chapter in SoulStep has an essence. It has a takeaway, or many takeaways really. And we try to choose takeaways that we really want to share with you in these videos. And I'm sure we're choosing the essence of each piece to share with you in these videos. There is much more to get from each of the chapters. So even if you have seen the videos, go and read the chapter and maybe read it before and after the videos, and you'll find more and more information and perhaps gain more clarity from what's in each of the chapters. So I'm thinking today about today's soul step and what is the essence that I wanted to share with you from today's soul step. So for this chapter, the takeaway is all about 2 important skills that I personally include in every single program that I teach. Every single program I teach has these 2 key components, because they are essential to living an authentic life. A life that is true to me, a life that is true to you on the inside. A life that is true to you on the inside. You want your outside life to correspond with what's true to you on the inside. And these two components that are mentioned in this soul step are essential to me for living this authentic life. So, what are the two factors? One is meditation, or some form of stillness. Meditation of some form of stillness. And two is cognitive consciousness, or some form of the awareness of your mind. So as for meditation, I've been practicing meditation since 2007 and teaching it since 2009. And for me, there's been no other tool as powerful, as life-changing, as opening up the awareness, the space for awareness in my life, as meditation. And I know Natalie and Florence teach meditation and teach mindfulness and talk all about this topic. You'll find it right through Soul Steps. It's right through the book because it is that powerful and it is that important. Now, I personally won't be diving into that topic until chapter 14, which is called Silent Lucidity. But I do mention it in today's chapter because it's really essential to also managing the second key takeaway, which is your cognitive consciousness. Meditation aids you in bringing up those subconscious negative beliefs and thoughts that you might not see in your everyday life because they've gone unconscious. So I just wanted to take a moment to express the importance of learning some form of meditation as a daily practice, some form of stillness, of going within as a daily practice. For me, I meditate daily. It is something I have come to require as part of a balanced, authentic, peaceful life. In order for me to be a loving, kind, compassionate person, I need to go within so that I can view and observe and see all my own programming, but also view the river of my life, how it flows, just watching it go by, knowing that I am not that river, knowing that I am not my emotions, I am not my thoughts, I am not my actions, I'm not my roles. I need to view that from an inner perspective every day so that I then can take space from getting involved in the dramas of life. It gives me a peaceful perspective. So meditation's also about rehabilitating my whole system, my emotional system, my mental, as we're going to talk about today, our cognitive system. My physical body benefits so much when I know that I am not my painful muscles. I am not those difficult illnesses that come my way. I am a bigger energy than that, and I can take space and get perspective and relax my body, relax my mind, relax my emotions, and then that in turn relaxes the inflammation in my body and allows me to find roots for healing. So as I was saying, every single program I teach, whether it's self-mastery, whether it's weight loss for the mind, body, and emotions, whether it's, of course, my meditation program, both these two things I'm talking about today, meditation and cognitive awareness, are two very essential parts of those programs and for managing our lives. But as I said, that's just my little throw out to meditation, and that'll be coming up in one of my future chapters. But I want to say that it goes hand in hand with cognitive awareness, and that's why I'm mentioning that today. So today I'm going to focus on the second takeaway that I mentioned in this chapter, And I really want to talk about, as the Dalai Lama put it, the enemies of our peace. So the title for this particular piece comes from a quote from the Dalai Lama. I was reading it in one of his books one day. And the Dalai Lama said, let me read you that quote. It's on page... I had my finger in there. It's on page 35. Soul step number 7, transcending the enemies of your peace. And the Dalai Lama said, in our practice of the Dharma, we seek to transcend the situation in which we find ourselves, victims of our own mental afflictions, the enemies of our peace and serenity. Victims of our own mental afflictions. I love that. And the reason I love that is because, what's an affliction but something that causes us pain and suffering? And mental affliction is pain and suffering that's rooted in the mind. Mental afflictions, pain and suffering that's rooted in the mind. And I also love his use of the enemies of our peace. The enemies. What is an enemy? But something that harms and weakens us. So, how do our mental afflictions that are rooted in our mind harm and weaken us? Well, we're going to find out. And I want you to see how that you have the power to change that. So how does your mind weaken you? Why does he say that? Well, we know we have around 60,000 thoughts a day. We know from research that 80% of our thoughts are negative, because that's the way our primitive mind works. So that's 80% of our mental energy causing us mental anguish, which then results in harmful chemicals being released in our body, because mental anguish, our negative thoughts, release a concoction of harmful emotions, harmful hormones in the body that are released when we feel a negative emotion, because a thought causes an emotion. And this then in turn all leads to the weakening of our physical bodies. It's a weakening of our mental health, our emotional balance, and ultimately our physical health, because they're all interlinked. We are an energetic system. We do not operate in one part of the body alone. It's all interconnected. We are a system. So to bring it all home, a negative thought produces a negative result in your life in the end. So our outcomes also become negative. And I'm going to show you this model in a moment, but that's just a little introduction. But when we have this cycle, a thought, a negative thought, which we already have 80% of our thoughts are negative, leading to an uncomfortable emotion, which produces a lot of damaging chemicals in the body. And then these damaging chemicals and this uncomfortable emotion causes us to feel really bad. And when we feel really bad, we take negative actions or not take actions. But we don't move towards the things that we want. We're moving away from them because of these negative thoughts. And then as a result, we get a negative outcome in our life. Through what we are looking at every day, the circumstances we view will be primarily negative if we are giving in to unconscious thinking and allowing ourselves to be led around by this 80% negative thoughts and old programming that's happening in our minds. So, how does this all happen and how can we change it? And you know how powerful we are. We are powerful, powerful beings. We have a mind, but we don't have to be led around by that mind. We have emotions, but we're not meant to be led around by the nose by our emotions. We can actually learn to produce positive feeling emotions in our body, which will then lead us to take positive actions in our life, which then lead to positive results. We can do that for ourselves. It all starts with going within, making the space for stillness, become aware of the thoughts that we are having. So I want to show you how your thoughts actually create your reality. Basically, we have desires. These desires compel us to think. You want something, and that just comes from your natural experiences in life. Your experiences are here to show you what is it that I want to create. We as energetic systems are live, moving expressions of ourselves, of energy, of creative energy is what I want to say. Live, moving expressions of creative energy. So when an idea comes to us or a compelling thought of something that we want, a desire is created. Or when we have an experience, whether negative or positive, a desire is created. A desire to move towards more of that experience or to avoid pain and move away from that experience to something else. But now we have a desire. So right away, this desire compels us to have thoughts about what it is we want or that what it is we don't want. So right away we have choices to make. We can either choose a negative thought or a positive thought. We have a choice, and it's being cognizant of these choices. Often we don't even choose either. And the reason for this is we have received most of our programming, our mental programming, by the age of 5. So many of us are operating, our thoughts are actually being generated by a very old mental programming. And we know that 80% of that is often negative. So we're not really choosing often. We are just acquiescing to this programming. And if 80% of the thoughts are negative, then we're acquiescing naturally to 80% of a negative thinking. And we're going to get into that cyclic motion of a negative thought, creating a negative emotion, causing a negative action, getting us a negative result. And then we're going to look at this negative result in this circumstance in our life, and we're going to repeat. But this stops when you realize that you have a choice. So instead of staying in this spin cycle, now you can have a choice. You can go to a positive thought, which will get you in a positive spin cycle, and you will see the end results gradually getting better and better and better and better. Or you can choose a negative thought and stay in the negative spin cycle, and you'll gradually see your results, or quickly, getting worse and worse and worse and worse. So that's why I mentioned meditation, because when you make time for stillness and go inward every single day, there's lots of different ways to do that, we allow ourselves the space to observe, to catch ourselves thinking, to catch ourselves feeling, to catch ourselves acting. And any one of those thoughts, actions, or feelings can lead us to choosing a new thought. And I'm going to show you how. So let's just look at an example. I got a little example written down here. So if you're programming around, say, jobs, getting jobs or getting work, maybe your parents had difficulty getting work, maybe you saw someone in your life had difficulty finding work, and you internalized that and made that into getting a job is difficult. Okay, so that's part of your programming. We all take the experiences from our life. Some of us make them mean negative things. Some of us make them mean positive things. So we all have different programming that's very unique to ourselves. So, for example, if you were someone who had negative programming around getting a job, you might have thoughts like, I'll never get that job. Everyone else is more qualified than me. I don't have the work ethic to do this job. I won't even bother to try because I know I'm not going to get it. So do you see how those thoughts would naturally lead you to feeling poorly about yourself, and then they would lead you to an action of not even probably putting your application in because you thought you weren't going to get the job. Now, instead, if you were programmed positively, then you're going to acquiesce to your positive programming around getting a job, and you're going to have thoughts more positive. So I deserve that job. I've been working my butt off, and I'm going to get that job. I can definitely do this job. I'm actually probably one of the best people for it. So you see how these kind of thoughts are then going to leave you feeling more empowered. And when you're feeling more empowered, you're going to put that application in, and you're going to call them, and you're going to show up on time, and you're going to dress appropriately, and you're going to look like you're the best employee for that job. So you'll probably get that job, or at least have a very positive experience and a positive outcome. So you see how important it is to learn how to think consciously and not just to go into defaulting your default thinking or our programming. It's important that we create that space every day so that we can then start to observe our thinking, start to take hints from our emotions, start to see our actions, and then we can go into this model I'm going to show you, and I'll show you how to change the thought that was the driving force behind your feelings and your actions and your outcome. So when we do think consciously and choose our thoughts, we can choose consciously in our lives. If you choose a positive thought, it will create a positive outcome because it creates a mix of hormones in the body that sends a circuitry of positive hormones through the body, and positive emotion is created. This causes a positive action and creates a positive result in your life. I just want to say that a lot of times in a lot of different ways so that can sink in how this actually works. Sometimes we need to hear it 3 and 4 and 5 different times. So when you choose a positive thought, you get a positive outcome. We're just going to skip the middle part for now. When you choose a positive thought, you get a positive outcome. When you choose a negative thought or acquiesce to negative programming, then you're going to get a negative outcome in your life. So, how to bring those thoughts to conscious level? It's teachable. It's learnable. You can learn how to bring these thoughts to a conscious level where you can change them. And how do you choose positive thoughts when you're feeling negative or you're looking at negative circumstances? Again, the negative circumstances are the symptom, not the cause. We think that, oh, I have an illness, then it's because of me feeling really bad. But I want you to just open to the possibility that the thought is the cause and the circumstance or how you feel is the symptom. So I'm just going to read you a little bit about the belief systems from this chapter. So this is on page 36 from SoulStep number 7. However, you can't change what you don't see. Helping clients uncover and reprogram their negative beliefs and thought patterns is unequivocally the most satisfying work and the most transformative. These negative thoughts and beliefs are the fundamental cause of negative perspectives, repeated harmful behaviors, unnecessary suffering, and unwanted outcomes. Some negative beliefs are common to many, and one in particular shows up for just about everyone. The belief that I am not worthy or I am not important. It may look different and manifest in a variety of ways, but when all the layers are shed, the negative belief that you are in some way unworthy or less than is present. It may feel like you're not good enough, not thin enough, not smart enough, not pretty enough, not focused enough, not organized enough, or simply not enough. But it's simply not the truth. You are worthy of love just because you are here, because you live, because you exist. Once you realize what dysfunctional behavior you use to falsely duplicate that loving feeling, then the healing begins. Now, I know I'm skipping a little bit there, but at the root of a lot of our negative thinking is the belief that we are not worthy, or we don't deserve, or we are not lovable in some way. And it is a little more complicated, but it's possible and doable to really untangle the pathway that will show you how you are prone to a certain pattern of thinking around a certain topic. And that would be related to your own personal program and your own negative thinking or positive thinking around those programs. So the message here is all about these negative thoughts that you say to yourself, and the fact that they have untruths in them. That's why I read that last quote. Every single negative thought that you have, if we take a moment to examine it, you will quickly be able to see and separate fact from fiction. What is fact and what is your opinion? And how is your opinion causing you to feel negative emotions or uncomfortable emotions? And we know that when we feel those uncomfortable emotions, we take negative action and we often don't get the outcome that we want. So if you examine them, we'd be able to quickly pick out the fact from fiction. The fiction is usually your negative programming that's leading you to these negative thoughts about yourself or about others. So becoming conscious of the consequences of your thoughts have on your own everyday life. Becoming conscious of the consequences that your thinking is having on your everyday life is one of the most effective vehicles for alleviating the suffering that you are feeling in your life right now. Becoming conscious of your thoughts is one of the most effective vehicles for alleviating the suffering that you are experiencing in your life right now. In fact, it's like cleaning up your mind. And just like you clean your home, you clean your body, you wash your hair, you clean your desk at work, you also need to clean up your mind. It's an extremely important part of self-care that I think is overlooked mainly because people don't know how to do it. But I'm going to show you how to do it. And there's lots of people out there who can show you how to do this. In fact, I think the exercise that I most love in self-mastery is called the Clean Mind exercise. And it's a little more complicated than what we'll do here. Not complicated, just a little more in-depth. It's meant to be done one-on-one. But it shows you how to clean up the programming, the negative programming of your mind. And I absolutely adore that exercise. So don't ignore the cleaning of your mind. And you almost need to learn to do it every day. And that's what this little tool is going to show you now. I keep telling you that I'm going to teach you it. But it's a small little tool that shows you how to start self-coaching, to start cleaning up your mind in little ways. And the more you practice it, the more you get better at it. So this is a model created by a coach I worked with for teaching a weight loss program. And it's one of the best shortcuts to, say, the larger clean mind exercise that I do with my clients. But it's a great little shortcut for getting started. And it's one of the best little processes I've seen, so I'm going to share that with you today. And I brought along just a little handout that she uses, which is fantastic. So remember, it's not the circumstance that is causing you the pain. It's your opinion about the circumstance that's causing you that mental anguish that Dalai Lama talks about, and the suffering that we're talking about, or the uncomfortable emotions. Excuse me. So let's take, for example, I'll just walk you through this little model. So circumstances is what we all experience in our life. What's the circumstance? It could be around your weight. It could be around a job. It could be around a relationship. It could be at work. And we have a thought about this circumstance. The thought we have causes, remember I was saying, the feelings we feel in our body, the hormones that are released by our brain circuitry, what courses through our body, and how that results in feeling negative or feeling positive. And then this negative feeling, and mixed with hormones, causes us to take an action. And this action then results in the circumstances, the outcomes. And you will see that the results are direct evidence to the thoughts that you were thinking. So let's just take, for example, if your circumstance is that you had a long-term injury, this injury, you might think this injury is never going to get better. The feeling might be, gosh, it really brings me down. I don't know what to do. I'm feeling really sad about it. And when you feel sad, what action do you take? Well, you probably stop working on the injury because you're already thinking it's never going to get better. I feel hopeless. Why am I even going to work on it? And the result is that your injury actually gets worse or stays the same, and it's not getting better because you don't work on it. So you see how the result of your injury staying the same or not getting better is a direct evidence of your thought. This injury is never going to get better. So we would turn this around, and I would show you how to choose a slightly better feeling thought, but it's important that the thought feels better in the body. You want the thought to feel better, or you won't be getting the positive result you want. So ask yourself, is it true? Is it true that this injury is never going to get better? Well, we don't know that, do we? So already we're telling ourselves something that's only partially true or unknowable right now. So you might say a new thought might be, my injury actually may get better. Certainly a possibility. That's a possibility for everyone. And then because you feel that your injury may get better, you start to feel more hopeful. And when you feel more hopeful, what action do you take? Well, if you feel more hopeful, you might decide, well, this is possible that this injury might get better, so I'm going to go follow through on some of those appointments, or maybe do some of the exercises that my doctor or physio recommended. And as a result of doing those exercises or following up on appointments and getting more and more help for healing, you do start to see some advancement in the healing. So your result is that you do see your injury may be getting a little bit better. And your result becomes direct evidence of your thought, which is, my injury may get better. So that's how it works. And it really is about a really practicing doing this self-coaching for yourself every day. Now, I just want to turn to the workbook section in this book. And it really, it's on page 42. And really this model has so many benefits. It has so many benefits. The more you practice, the better you'll get at it. And it's a little tricky in places, but keeping it very simple is the key to getting it to work. But here are some of the benefits of working this model of cleaning your mind every single day. One, it teaches you to think on purpose. You learn not to acquiesce to your programming, but to think on purpose. Two, it gives you awareness of your thinking so that you can see how your thinking affects your life. You get this real world connection of how your thoughts actually are giving you direct results that link and results in evidence that link to your thinking. It gives you a framework, a very simple framework to show you how your mind is so involved in the actual reality of your life. It simplifies that mind-world connection for you. It's no longer a mystery. How is my mind really affecting me? We know that it does, but sometimes we just don't know the middle workings and how that actually affects us. It gives you back control of your mind because you are the boss. You are not your mind. Your mind is for your use. You are the boss. You can clean up your mind. You can create better feeling emotions. You can create more positive actions, take more positive actions, and as a result, get better results in your life. That's all within your power. You can also use this model for showing you a way to a better feeling emotion. Because once you follow this through, you'll see the emotion that it brings up for you. And if you are feeling a negative emotion, you can actually choose a better thought that then will release different hormones in the brain that will then cause you to have a better feeling emotion in the body. So you can use this model to actually feel better. I love that, and I use it all the time. And finally, you can use this model to program your negative beliefs, to reprogram your negative beliefs. Because your thought is just a sentence you say in your mind. And it attracts like thoughts, which then become a belief. And then beliefs attract like beliefs that then become a belief system. So when you are able to be consciously aware of your thoughts, know that you actually have a vehicle for changing your negative beliefs. And we know that what you believe will manifest. We know that. And now you know the path to that. And you have the skill to do that. So now it's about practice. How do I practice this in my daily life? And I want to give you a chance to practice that. So I'm just going to read a little example of how this works. And then I'm going to ask you guys to choose a thought. Look at a circumstance that you're having, choose a thought, and post it below. And I will actually help you work through this thought model based on a negative thought that you're having about a circumstance in your life. So let's take an example. If you had, let's just take some from the soul journey section. Some big areas of our lives. So like work project. If you have negative programming around work, you might be thinking, I'm too overwhelmed. I can't do this. It's too big. I always procrastinate. A belief then forms around your work project. Are you fearful that you'll fail? So you never really follow through on your work project. Sometimes that's what we do. We tell ourselves we can't do the project because we're really fearful of failure. And that might be a little sign for you of a belief system that you're operating from. Let's look at another one around weight, perhaps, because a lot of us struggle with our weight. I'll never lose weight. Maybe that's something you think. Food doesn't even like me. I just love eating food too much. I can't stop eating food. It's too hard for me. So those kind of negative thinkings will be a pointer to you that maybe a belief about weight is that you believe that you're not beautiful or you want to hide yourself. Or often we need protection. When we have extra weight, it's because we feel like we need protection. They often go together. Maybe money. Let's look around money. I can't pay my bills. There's not enough money to go around. There will never be enough money. Look at them. They have it so easy. They have all the money. So, this will be pointing to some of your lack beliefs. Your beliefs about money. Do you believe that you have to work really hard for money? Or that deep down you don't deserve to have money? Or do you believe there's not enough money to go around? So see how your negative thinkings are pointing you to some of your negative programming. And I bet if we looked at some of your childhood experiences, we might find where those negative beliefs came from. Not that you have to, but sometimes that helps move them a bit faster. So I think I'll just stop there. And once we do identify that negative thought and we go through the model and you practice seeing how your thought creates your emotions, causes you to act in a certain way, which creates a result in your life, then you turn it around. Then you turn your thinking to the lighter side. And as I said before, we're trying to raise our personal vibration from that negative, heavy energy up to a little lighter energy, to perhaps a little lighter thought. Now, we wouldn't jump right from something like, let's talk about money. I can't pay my bills to, all my bills are paid off, because that doesn't feel real, does it? It doesn't feel like your bills aren't paid off. Why would I choose that thought? My bills are still here. So you would work your way up to better feeling thoughts. And when you find one that actually creates a different response in the body, that's the one you're going to choose to practice. Think about that before you go to bed at night. Post it on your fridge so you can, when you catch yourself thinking negatively about money, you're going to use this new thought. Where else can you put it? Put it in your bathroom, on your bathroom mirror. Because when you get up in the morning and you're worried about money, you might see that new thought that you're going to be using to change your programming about money. So let's just look at how you move from heavy thoughts of in debt to lighter thoughts. So your belief or your thought is, I will never get out of debt. You can shift to, I haven't always been in debt. I feel lighter already. To, credit cards cause a lot of debt. Kind of going back to feeling heavy. To just keep shifting. It's good that the credit cards company loan me money. They trust me enough to give me credit. That's a good thing. To, I can pay some of my bills. Shift to, things are getting a little bit better. To, I've made some good financial decisions in my life. I definitely have. And then maybe to, things are getting a little bit better each day as I continue to pay some of my bills. And a final thought might be, I can do this. So do you see how you work your way up to a higher feeling thought through trusting your body, listening to your body, so that you, when you feel a little lighter, you know that you're getting to a better feeling thought, and because it can be tricky. So really check in with the body to see if you're feeling a little bit better first. So we went from a belief or a thought that I'll never get out of debt through a series of lighter feeling thoughts to, I can figure this out. Now, which feels better in your body? I'll never get out of debt, or I can figure this out. The second one feels better to me, of course. So right now, I want to invite you guys to choose any area of discontent in your life right now, any area. And I want you to write down one negative thought about this circumstance. So if you want to continue down the model, you can. You can even try a model below. Post your CTFAR, your circumstance, could be about money, your thought about money, your feeling that comes up when you think that thought, the action that you generally take when you feel that way, and the results that you're getting. And I will help you. I'll look at your model. I'll help you work through that model, and then we'll do a turnaround and find a better feeling thought. So I would love for you to try this out, because this is one of the most powerful self-coaching tools that I use on myself quite often and that I teach clients. And I'd love to help you out. If you're watching tonight, go ahead and do that and put a negative thought about a circumstance that you're having trouble with right now, and we'll work through it. So thank you for watching today, and thank you for following all the way through. You can find Natalie Florence or myself here on Sunday evenings, Newfoundland Standard Time at 7 p.m. And I want to say that I teach these two tools primarily: meditation or a meditative exercise, and cognizant awareness of your thoughts. and changing your thoughts. And I know Florence and Natalie do too. And I'll soon be offering a self-mastery online course. So if you feel that we're a good match and you're interested in just digging in a little deeper in this topic and working through some other related topics, then this self-mastery course might be for you. I will put a link below this video, and if you're interested, just shoot me off an email, because I will be advertising that self-mastery online course. I think it's starting in June, mid-June. So I'd love to see you there if you're ready to do this work. So thanks for tuning in again. I hope this was all really helpful for you today. And I'll see you in 3 weeks' time with SoulStep number 8, which is as gentle as a whisper. Bye for now.